Hello everyone. The first video that we have for your extra credit problem is graphing using your calculator. These videos are to help you for the Regents exam that you will be taking in a few weeks. Remember that we did not cover everything yet in the algebra curriculum, but there's some things we are able to do with our calculator. So like I said, this video is going to cover how to use your graphing calculator to graph. Now we've graphed lines, we've graphed inequalities, we haven't graphed things like exponential functions or absolute value functions or quadratics just yet, but you're able to do it if you know how to use your calculator. So first thing you want to do is turn on your calculator and go to the home page. When you're at the home page, you want to hit New Document, so choice 1. And then go to choice 2, Add a Graph, and enter. Now at this point, we can graph anything that the Regents tells us to graph. So if it says graph this function that you have never seen before, it's okay because you're able to do it using your graphing calculator. So the first one on your extra credit problem is, let me see here, y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. So when I put that in my calculator, remember the f of 1 of x just means y. So we just start by putting it into y equals negative 3/4 x, plus 3. Then we hit enter, and your function will show up. Remember, if you don't see it right away, you can change your scales here by simply hovering over it, clicking it, and say I want to make that 10. I can do that. So that will help kind of adjust your view there. When we get to this point, you want to hit Control T, and that will give me my table. The skinny bar are your X's, and the fatter bars are your Y's. My advice to you is to graph as many points as possible to make sure your lines kind of don't go every which way. Some other things you need to remember is to put arrows on graphs and to label your graph with the equation. At this point, I want you to stop your video, and I want you to go ahead and answer the first question on your extra credit, which is just to graph the equation on the set of axes below. Then at the bottom, it asks you for the video word. The video word for the first problem is blue. So write the word blue on that line. This tells me that you actually listened to the video and you didn't just do the problem. All right, at this point, you should have already graphed the line in the first problem. I will check that over when you hand it in to make sure you did it correctly. Another important thing for you to remember is just to write down your X and Y table so that say you copied the table wrong, but you graphed it right, we can still give you some credit. Now the second problem says to draw the graph of y equals the square root of x minus 1 on the set of axes below. That's something we've never done. We have not worked with square root functions yet. However, you guys are able to graph it because your graphing calculator does it for you. So again, going to your graphing calculator, you want to go to a home page. When we go to graph, we go to new document. If there's something in your thing, just hit no. Again, add a graph. And now I want, the problem was square root of x minus 1. So when I go to my calculator, I hit Control x squared. That gives me the square root button of x minus 1. Enter. So again, that's something we've never done before. We've never worked with the square root function, but you guys are able to graph it, and I'll give you some points on the Regents. So, just like a line, we'd hit Control T, and that gives me some points that I can graph. Again, only graph the points that you're able to graph. So we don't really know how to graph 0.4142, blah, 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 blah. So start with the points that have whole number values or halves, those work too, and graph those points. So I would graph 0, -1, 1, 0, 4, 1, 9, 2. That's probably the last one you'll be able to graph. Just like a line, put your equation on your line, put your x and y table next to your problem. So I'm going to let you go at this point to draw the graph of y equals the square root of x minus 1 below, and your video word for this problem is yellow.